Hey guys, Khawazu here. Got another video coming at you. Today we're going to do a champion spotlight of a new champion that we've discovered that is actually pretty strong that I think people are really sleeping on. So we're going to be talking about Inferno Khawazu or ML Khawazu. Just built him, just been testing him out in arenas, RTAs. He's been doing fantastic. Could probably help you guys out if you have him, you haven't built him, solve a lot of your problems, especially with Tempest Surin, who's been really strong in the meta right now, especially in Guild Wars. So let's talk about his abilities first. His S1, it's gonna attack, gonna have a 75% chance to burn for 1 turn. When he has his buff Vigor, it has an additional burn effect, so 2 burns. If you soul burn it for 20 souls, grants an extra turn. So that brings to the passive, which gives us our buff, Vigor, which gives us 30% attack and 30% defense. Cannot be dispelled, which is nice. The way we get this is if the enemy team hits us with an attack that targets allies. So any AoE, so that's RVS3, any Dizzy ability, stuff like that. It's going to proc it. What happens when it procs? We're going to dispel all debuffs on ourself, not on our team, just ourselves. And then it's going to give us vigor, and it's going to CR push us by 20%, and we're going to recover 20% health. So that is really good against AoE cleave. The fact that you heal and you CR push, and you get this defense and attack buff. So then that brings us to our S3, which is what we really care about. Is we're going to attack the enemy, single target. We're going to dispel all buffs and inflict 2 burn effects for 2 turns. And then we're going to detonate. So we're going to put those 2 burns up, and then we're going to detonate them. That's going to do a ton of damage if we have our character built right. And if we have our Vigor buff, we're going to ignore effect resist. So we don't need to build a lot of effectiveness because we should be picking him into champions that are going to AoE and they're going to proc that Vigor. So let's see how we got it set up here. We do have immunity on him just because the pieces are nice and it's not a bad thing. We don't need to dispel the debuffs, so if we avoid them altogether, it's not a bad thing for later in the fight. So we got him at 181 speed. I kind of think that's a little too high. Could lower the speed a little bit, but 181 is not terrible. It's still playable. We're at 4.1k attack, which is good. We want a lot of attack on our gear so that we can do a lot of detonate damage with those burns, because the burns damage is dependent on our attack. We're at 13 defense. That's a little low-ish for what I want, but it's still good. We're not getting one shot. And with almost 13k health, we're living through most things. We don't care about crit or crit damage. All we care about is the burns. And then we have 71% effectiveness. You could swap some of that out, but it's not a bad thing to have because we are putting burns up on our S1. And if we don't have vigor, we're still going to put it up. So what makes him so good against Tempest Surin is his S3 counts as 2 hits. So the initial hit that puts up the burns, and then the detonate damage. So you will one-shot her with those 2 instances of damage. Same thing with top model Luca. When you burn her S1, it hits twice in 1 hit. And so he will one-shot Tempest Surin so long as you have enough damage. A lot of Tempest Surins have a low health pool, so it shouldn't be too hard. Even without Vigor, when I was testing it, was hitting for like 11k with this gear. So you're hitting for 11k detonate on Tempest Surins. She's just going to die. Most Tempest Surins don't have above 10k. With Vigor, it's obviously going to be higher. The important part is you can't hide your Tempest behind a fallen CC or shield because your S3 is just going to dispel that barrier before you do any of the damage. So we've been testing it. It's been working really well. It could help you in Guild Wars if you're struggling against that combo, because Fallen CC Tempest and then another character is a really common Guild Wars defense team. So you put Khawazu in there. He gets hit by AoE, gets pushed up, gets bigger. He goes in, he can insta snap the Tempest Surin, and then depending on the rest of your team and his team, you should be good to go from there as long as you build your team right. So, as far as artifacts, currently I've been running him on Elspeth. There are some other options. Drangel's another, Portrait's pretty good. Another one I've been considering is this Creation Destruction, but I don't have him maxed out to really test how well it would work. But if you could reset the cooldown of his S3, that would be really cool. Might be more of a RTA thing than Guild Wars. You can definitely play around with that. I don't think Uber's Tooth is the greatest. It's definitely not bad. You will hit twice and then have another instance of damage with Uber's Tooth. Let's see, Cradle of Life, not really that great. You can always run him with Symbol of Unity or Proof of Valor, the Guild Wars artifacts. Those would be good. They would help. But other than that, I think those are probably the ones that he would run the best on. Proof of Valor would help make sure he doesn't just get killed by the AoE before he gets a chance to proc his S2. Same with the Symbol of Unity will help with making sure he hits, because you don't want to miss if it's a Dreamblade. That would help against that. But other than that, I think Dreamblade's really the only major issue you could run in with him, is if you get Dreambladed and miss the bleeds. So Symbol Unity might be a really strong option there. But yeah, he's really strong. Like I said, he's gonna one-shot your Tempest easily. Like if you look at my Tempest, health-wise, she's only got 10k, and she's got very little defense too. So she's gonna get hit, and she's gonna die because most people rely on the S2, which you can't get hit more than 51% of your max health in a single attack. So that just makes sure that you just hit through that with Khawazu, with the low health pool that people are going, so that they can mitigate more damage and then lifesteal back up. It's really strong. If you have him, I highly recommend putting a little bit of effort into him. His gear requirement is really not that high. You just need enough attack to one-shot your Tempest, and then health and defense so that you can live. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a comment. Let me know how you guys like it. And keep getting some more videos out.